I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to City Hall, where we'll review the action items that will be contained in the agenda for next Tuesday's October 17th, middle of October already. We finally got our cooler weather, so at least for a little bit. And we'll get cooler, I guess, next week. So we'll be led by our city manager, Mr. Bill Burrows, as he reviews those action items. Bill?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. Under your consent agenda, the first item is Resolution R23-168, a resolution authorizing the purchase of a portion of certain real property at 2102 7th Street, real property ID 47547, located on Lot 11, Block 1 of Randy Subdivision in Garland County, Arkansas, and for other purposes. And our city engineer, Gary Carnahan, will present the next few items, actually. Gary?
Great, thank you so much. What a beautiful day, huh? So we have a $240,000 TAP grant to build sidewalks over by the new junior high academy and the new high school area, 7th Street and Emory. And in order to complete that, we need three pieces of property, because our right-of-way isn't wide enough to put the sidewalk along there. So we had an appraisal done, met with the property owners. They have signed an agreement to sell a 7.5-foot strip of land across the front of their lot to the city for the sidewalk. And this first one, the amount of money based on the appraisal was $373.
Any questions of Mr. Carnahan? What's the timetable for all this?
This is already October, so it's early next year, early January, February, March next year. We'll build those sidewalks over there.
Very good. Thank you.
Right. I have two more, and I don't know if you want me to just keep going.
Well, it's Resolution R.
I'm sorry, Director Beard, did you have a question?
Yes, I did. You just said that for this purchase of the, this property is $373 just for this one lot? Is that what you said?
$373, yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Just for that strip of land along the front.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, let's go ahead and run through
Okay,
them.
the next door neighbor has an identical lot size, same story, and so we want to purchase their 7.5 feet of their property for $373.
2100 7th Street.
Right. And then there's a third piece of property, which is the next resolution in front of you, and it is for a piece of property that's on a larger lot, much wider, and also there's a large tree that we're going to have to remove that will compensate the property owner for that tree. So the amount of money for that property owner is $1,186. Otherwise, these are all the same.
Yeah, that's at 2007th Street. There are more than 3 properties in this project. However, the other properties are through an easement versus a purchase of right-of-way.
Right.
Very good.
Okay,
Any
thank you.
questions of Gary? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Resolution R23-171, a resolution authorizing the filing and acceptance of Justice-Involved Peer Recovery Specialist Program grant funding, amending the authorized table of personnel, amending the 2023 budget, and for other purposes. And our Courts Director, Chris Burrow, will present this item.
Yes, sir. Thank you. This is a grant that was proposed in 2022, coming from the Department of Human Services that got opioid settlement money, which they had. The specialty courts throughout the state could apply for a $50,000 grant that is not a match grant, that is able to fund a peer specialist. This is also overseen by the Administrative Office of the Courts. This is a 1 year to 2 year that we'll have to apply for it again at some point in time. As long as the money's there, we can employ a peer specialist, if not with the understanding that this would dissolve. at some point if the funding was not there. This has no impact on anything financial through district court's budget or the city. However, the money that would be deposited into the finance department would cause for us to do it would be an employee of the city that would have to go through the normal background check, the drug screens, and all that to be employed. I think that we've got a little bit to do because there is a peer specialist that is with the police department along the same guidelines. There's a few little tweaks that we have to make sure that we do that judicially follows for the district court part of it.
Chris, I
questions?
think you said there's a peer recovery as well for the county side of the house over in the circuit court.
Yes, sir. Judge Ohm did receive also the same funding for that position.
Director Garcia, did you have a question?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes. Who will this person report to?
It would be reporting to me directly, but it would be as far as a city employee following the city policies at this point.
And does this, this is just for the personnel, no training or anything?
Okay, thank you. So to get the peer specialist, they have to have certain certifications. DHS has a list of names that have already gone through certifications that we would be able to open that up to, send an email out for them to apply for it. But they've already got training and continuing ed that they would have to continue through the course of the work. But these are all certified peer specialists.
But the training, the continuing training, is that in addition to this?
They'll have to, yes, ma'am. They'll have to do certain things throughout as far as reporting. Because DHS, when these funding with grants, there's going to be a list of objectives and data that they're going to have to maintain and keep that we're going to have to report as well to DHS.
Right. But does the grant cover their training?
Yes, ma'am.
Continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry.
Any further questions? Director Beard?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Is that, the check that Mark Hayes brought here from Little Rock, remember that big check, I think it was $1 million? Is that something separate or?
Part and
who got
parcel.
that money?
Part and
Sorry?
parcel of the same settlement funds that the state is administering, yes.
Okay, okay.
Any additional questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have considered resolution R23-172, a resolution declaring a certain portion of city-owned property located on parcel ID 82-734 surplus property pursuant to resolution number 9347 and sold by way of negotiated sale and for other purposes. And our deputy city manager, Lance Spicer, will present the item.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. This particular property, if you're familiar with Airport Road, it's at the far edge of 800, is on the opposite side of Airport. So it's actually on what we would call Family Park, but it's adjacent to Mr. Virgil Ivan. He's got a cultured stone and marble business that is on that stretch of Airport Road. This is actually part of one of the original parcels of the airport when it was began in, I think it was 1946, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, this particular property, it's 0.413 acres, and it's a pie-shaped piece of property. And in your package, you'll have the some mapping and some images to kind of orient you with that particular piece of property. But the request is to have this declared surplus and allow us to sell this property. The property in itself is not needed by the airport. We did receive clearance from the FAA. They provided us, it's called a Section 163 clearance. So they basically state that the release of this property doesn't have an impact on airport operations, safety for aircraft, the public, etc. So that's very important to get. Additionally, here we go. We've got a map. It's that kind of reddish triangle there. So it's kind of an odd-shaped piece of property there at the end of 1331. Mr. Ivan's property is immediately to my left of that red pie-shaped piece there. In the release, Mr. Ivan needs this property and his expressed interest over the years to purchase it. And he actually began this prior to COVID. So it's been in the works for some time. He actually needs that because that is how he currently uses it, but he would like to own the property, use it for his loading dock, for actually getting product into his building. So throughout the process, we have communicated with Mr. Ivan that we'd have to go through the board to have this declared surplus, and that's what we're doing. And we talk about a negotiated sale. This has been in a tax-free status since '46, so really no valuation on Data Scout or through the assessor's office. What we did was Mr. Ivan actually owns 0.45 acres of property, so almost very similar to this one. It is valued at $87,500. We did the math on that, and that works out to about $4.50 per square foot for a valuation. So what we're proposing is to have this declared surplus and negotiated sale with Mr. Ivan. And that would amount to approximately $80,956.26 for this particular piece of property. And as I said, it is not needed by the airport, but it is on airport property, but it's across the streets of Airport Road. So with that, I'll entertain any questions.
Director Garcia?
If sold, will that proceeds go into the airport fund?
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. I'm glad you brought that up.
Thank you.
It does have a curb cut, so I mean, this is, on the highway department. It's been used for quite some time by this particular facility.
Any additional questions?
Lance, I assume you've inquired of other departments. There's no other use that could be made for
Correct.
public purpose?
Yeah. It's if someone drives out there, you're gonna kind of quickly see that it doesn't particularly present itself for any other use at this time to us, and it is of great need for Mr. Ivan and his business and continuation of it.
Director Trustee?
What's the approximate address of this land?
It's 800 Airport Road.
This one is 800?
Yes.
Okay, and so
Yeah,
what
that's-
is the business that's beside it? Is it 802, is it 804?
I think it's a little further down. I think it's 809 if I'm
So
not
it's
mistaken.
even further down, okay.
Yeah,
I think-
I'll get that exactly because it's.
I think the Ivan property is 800. I seriously doubt that our property has an address. There's no 911 purpose for one.
Right, I just said approximate, I just.
Yeah,
like to know
800.
About where it's at.
So we
Okay.
would be 79.9.
First establishment as you go past Family Park, basically, on
Right,
airport.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Next, we have Resolution R-23-173, a resolution approving a certain street name in the Bella Vita subdivision located east and south of Higdon Ferry Road and located in the southwest quarter of Section 25, Township 3, Range 20 West in Hot Springs, Arkansas. And our Public Works Director, Ron Seavright, will discuss the item.
Good afternoon. The developer of Bella Vita subdivision, which is Carriage Custom Homes, is requesting naming of a section of street name that it intends to develop. It's parcel 52950 located between Higdon Ferry Road and Central. This action would approve the street name only and does not obligate the city to accept any part of the street for city maintenance. Therefore, staff recommends approving the street name Spa Bridge Cove and adding Spa Bridge Cove to the city master and street entrance.
Any questions of the board? Director Garcia?
Is
Yes, ma'am.
this street going to go all the way through to Files Road?
No, it's gonna dead end, and you'll
Oh.
have a map of it in your packet for
Okay,
next week.
thank you.
This is directly behind the DoubleTree.
Oh, okay.
It'll be a private road for some time.
Director Beard?
Yes, thank you. Are there people that live on that street?
Not yet.
Okay.
Well, I take that back. There is a structure that's coming down. So someone bought, here's a map. Somebody bought all of the property that you're looking at there inside that parcel that'll be cleared and rebuilt.
Any additional questions? Thank you.
And your final item will be under new business. It's your only ordinance of the evening. It's ordinance 2325, an ordinance accepting Bluebell Court and Coneflower Court as city streets and for other purposes. And again, Mr. Seabright.
The developer of Wildwood Gardens located off of Piper Street has requested that these streets be accepted to the city. These streets have been inspected and meet city street specifications. Therefore, staff recommends approving Bluebell Court and Coneflower Court for acceptance of the street and right-of-way for city maintenance. We've already accepted the adjoining streets, prior subdivision phases, so these all connect together.
All right, any questions on this item?
Director Beard, this is an example. The previous item is a new street that's going in, so we're just reserving the name for them at this point. They may or may not ask us in the future to accept maintenance. This is one that we had approved the name. They've built it to specifications and asking the city to accept it for maintenance.
So are there people that live along here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and it says for other purposes. What would the other purposes be?
Any type of maintenance of the street or expansion.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ron, I know we talked about this, but there at the end of Bluebell Court, there is a proper cul-de-sac, correct?
Yes, sir.
And at the end of Coneflower?
Yes.
Okay.
Mayor, there
thank
are no
you.
other items for your agenda for your October 17th meeting.
All right, well, we do have a work session immediately after, so we'll switch over the technology and be ready to begin in a minute or two. Thank you.
I don't know.